Hi, it's Julie Hornock with United in Autism. I'm so thrilled that you're joining us today. We're going to be talking with Sharon Manor, and I'm going to try and pull her on here. Sharon is from New Jersey, and Sharon has a daughter named Carrie. She's 26 years old. Sharon has been a yoga instructor forever, for many, many years, and she has so much wisdom and expertise, and I can't wait for her to share with you about how to take time for yourself, how to calm down. Okay, Sharon, I see that you're on. I'm going to try and pull you on with me. And it may allow you to actually jump on too, but I don't know why we're having trouble with this as usual. Thank you for your patience, everyone. All right, we almost have her here. All right, we'll be popping up in just a second. It's adding her. Thank you for your patience. Yay!
We did it!
We did it. It's always an accomplishment, isn't it?
Okay.
Okay, I want to introduce everyone to Sharon. I am so thrilled to have you today. You're such an inspiration. You've done so much for the community, and then also with your own daughter. I just think, especially with her being 26, you have so much wisdom to share with us and with the newer moms. And so start off maybe telling me just a little bit about Carrie.
Well, thank you, Julie, for the kind words, and thank you for having me. Carrie is now 27, and she's the youngest of 4 children. She's very high functioning in many ways, but really needs care 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. So she's been with me since the beginning. You know, she's my girl, and I love her. And sometimes it's hard, but it is what it is. And you know, I found ways, but you know, as they say, to make lemonade out of the lemon. You know, yeah. It's really it's a gift. She teaches me how to be a better person every day.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I think that with my daughter as well. She teaches me. I've grown so much since having her and learning. Just having a different situation than most people have, it changes you as well. And so I think that's really cool. Well, just tell me like a little bit about her early years and her early diagnosis.
Well, Carrie was, you know, she was the youngest of my children. So she was number 4. And I knew right away that something was very different. And as time went on and she was supposed to hit the, you know, the milestones, she wasn't. She used to crawl with one arm, you know, mm-hmm. Never. And eventually I brought her to a neurologist, and he had a bunch of residents there following around, this really famous neurologist. And he said, gave her these blocks, and she lined them up. He goes, well, she has autism. You better find a good behavior. And this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving just, you know, just in shock and afraid and sad and everything. And then I took her to everybody I could and had every test I could do. And everything I did was making her more upset, you know, and it was violating. You know, it's really hard trying to figure out what was going on. And then one day she was out at the pool with my other kids just playing and having fun. And I just had this like little epiphany. But you know what? If she's happy and she doesn't get any better than the way she is right now, but she's happy. It's okay. So yeah. I pulled back from a lot of the, you know, the little tests. Like back in the day, they had this stuff called paper test, where you would have to get the function of it. And some of the stuff that they had to try to do was just, you know, none of it worked. And a lot of it just set her, she was frightened.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they were really, and we talk about this, your story that we share in the book, which I can't wait for everyone to read, and we won't give it all away now. But the story you shared with me about, especially back then, there were so many treatments. They were just trying to figure out what in the world autism was. And I'll just tell the audience, Sharon's story is heartbreaking. She went against her instinct and put her daughter in a situation that she really, really regretted. And so I can't wait for them to read about that. And then I hope we'll have you back and we'll talk about that more, because there's so much. And I'd like to talk about now just the importance of following that instinct. I feel like, as a mom, I know I have it, and I followed it many times and didn't, and it turned out bad when I didn't. So tell me a little bit about instinct and the importance of following it.
Yeah, you have to go with your gut. Your child, with all, right? But you need to be your child's advocate. Mm-hmm. And I learned that pretty early. And then, I was convinced by certain people that, we should maybe go this route. And it was so against what I believed that we should do. I had to go with what I believe in my heart worked. It's like anything else. I mean, some people can eat food and not have any effect from the food because they believe when they're putting it in their body, it's good for them, right? And they feel good. It's the same thing with your child. You really have to believe in what you're doing. And a lot of medical routes that we went, I didn't believe in, and really negative results from them. So I went back to the basics of what I always did, which was yoga, meditation, and good, clean food.
Yeah, I mean, I can't stress that enough. And I want to get into that a little bit down the road, because I want this, especially our conversation, to be, we're going to talk about how to relieve stress, the importance of taking care of you, and healthy eating. But the main thing I want everyone to know when we discuss these things, this is not coming from a place of judgment, because for me, this is something I really, really struggle with. I struggle with eating healthy. And so I think if we can just have an honest conversation and talk about the benefits, maybe we can kind of jump in and really help some people realize the importance of it. I mean, I'm trying to teach my kids every day, and then it's reiterating to myself. So,
well, there's something one of the things I did when I was very is I ate a lot of vegetables, and over time I've read a lot about there's an ingredient that's in Roundup, which is in all that it's the herbicide for all the GMO plants, called glyphosate, and that particular chemical they feel may be very one of the things that is creating autism. So just trying to keep things pure, organic foods without any kind of additives in it. And I learned by observing. I watching everything that Carrie ate, and then watching the reactions that she would have. There's certain foods, if she eats them, she goes nuts. If some of the foods like Cheetos that have dye in them, she goes from being the sweetest thing into a maniac. Salami, any salami, she can additive. So really seeing what artificial things end up doing to the body, and then sugars can create all kinds of havoc. So I mean, what I recommend is that you watch everything that your child eats, watch the reaction. And when you see, if you see something that's a little bit, try it again. And if it doesn't work, eliminate it. I think they call that the elimination diet.
Yeah.
But keep it pure.
Well, I think really going back to the basics, one of the reasons my daughter was able to be so successful in her therapy was because we had addressed diet first. And we took out the gluten and the dairy and the things that she was sensitive to. Everyone's not going to be sensitive to the same things, but in general, our kids with autism usually have some kind of dairy and gluten issues. Not all of them, but some, many. And I think the most important thing that I learned myself was food is not supposed to be like our joy in life. And this is very hard for me because I love to eat, but food is supposed to go into our body to fuel our mind and to fuel our, and just going back to that basic of let's eat fruits, vegetables, meats, and maybe meat. Some people don't eat meats. You may not eat, like lots of people are vegetarian, but for us, meats work.
I have protein sometimes. I don't eat meat, but
Yeah.
But my daughter eats meat.
Yeah.
My daughter eats meat. Yeah.
I mean, but there's some people's bodies, their physical bodies do better with vegetarian. Some people do better with meat. And either way, just clean food. And it was so important for her to watch her mind was clear to actually go through the therapy and to benefit from it. We were getting the most of our money basically as we were doing our therapy. So I think that's important to remember. And then the same goes for us as moms, right? Like
that's actually the yogic way of you start with diet. Yogis, whenever somebody comes in that's that wants to get well, they clean the body out, and they usually have a vegetarian diet, but keeping it pure. Because if anything's playing havoc in your stomach or in your digestive system, it's going to go right to the brain. And anything if there's any fermentation in the body or anything like that, you're not going to be able to think clearly. So pure, good, clean food is the route to go if you really help your kid, be as successful as possible. And I agree with you. That was the first, when I really, after the whole bout with all the doctors, that was the first thing that we did. We cleaned Carrie's diet up. Tremendous change. It was really amazing.
Yeah. So if we're going into the talking about us, the first thing I noticed, like, I love sugar, and this is a struggle. This is a big struggle because I grew, when you grow up with a bad diet, it's hard as an adult to change. And I have definitely changed my diet where I do mostly like Whole30 thinking. But it's just now that I'm off sugar for the most part, if I go and have sugar, I can tell such a difference in my ability to parent and in my ability to be nice.
Really? Yeah. Oh, some people have incredible reactions. I know somebody who told me a story about his brother who, as a child, had seizures. Mm-hmm. And as he became a young adult, he read a book on sugar, eliminated sugar, and never had a seizure again.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
We are not made to have that, maybe a tiny bit here and there, but it's just permeated our diet. It's in everything.
And there's other ways to sweeten that, that instead of the processed cane sugars, there's other ways to find things that can, you can put a little honey in or something like that, but it doesn't have to be sugar. And then I'm lucky with that because Carrie really doesn't crave sugar that much. She likes things like salami.
That she can't have. Yeah.
No, one time she stole a whole salami from her grandmother's house and put it in her suitcase.
I bet that smelled good.
Tried to hide it in her closet. I'm not kidding you.
When did they figure it out? Did they smell it?
No, I saw her run upstairs when she got home with her little suitcase, and I see her. She's got this a big salami, and she was like hiding it in her closet.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I think food's a big deal for everybody.
It is. It's I think it's really one of the most important steps is the food.
Yeah, clearing out the diet, which clears your mind, and as a mom enables you to think clear, to get more things done. I get 1,000 more things done whenever I'm off sugar. It's just the truth. And so that's for me. It could be something else for someone else, but looking and figuring out what that clean diet is going to be. Yeah.
And that's number one too, that we have to remember, which you and I have talked about many times, that, whatever we're going to do for our child, we need to do for first. We put the oxygen mask on first when we're on the airplane. We need to take care of ourselves at the highest level as, parents of kids on the spectrum. And we have to do that first before we even think about all the things that we have to do for our kids. But we don't always do that.
We don't. And I have gone, so I did kind of what you did right when Lizzie was diagnosed. I went into fix mode and I was hardcore, and I was about 3 years in, and then we were seeing a new nutritionist, and I walked in and she looked at me and she goes, I can't even talk about your kid until I talk about you. Look at you. You look terrible. And I appreciated her bluntness because it really, as moms, we take care of our kids first and take care of our family first. And it was like, oh, I had kind of forgotten that I needed to be able to take care of myself to take care of them, So
the most loving thing that we can do for our children is to be our best and to take care of ourselves at the highest level, and then we're the most effective. And even like, energetic wise, but we're able to discern and make really good decisions. And that's like the kind of thing we talked about before, going with your gut. If you're not, like I meditate every day too, and meditate to really to discern how to make the right decision, and how to react, and a lot of times how not to react, just to kind of let whatever's happening be.
Yeah,
And
yeah, just not to overreact. That's
right.
that's a problem too.
Yeah.
And it's so important. So we wanted to talk about, okay, first step of taking care of yourself, which is totally necessary. And I think moms with kids with autism we feel like we're in early intervention at the beginning, and we're nervous because we don't have enough time, and we feel like we're racing the clock. And I think as older moms who've had kids longer, we can actually tell the younger moms, I just want to say, you have to take time for you. So take that hour out of, if you can't get them in that hour of therapy, you're better off taking care of you, because you're in it for the long haul. And they almost need permission, like, you, instead of fitting in that extra hour of therapy for your child, use an hour to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying?
And also nurture all of your other relationships. If you have your marriage, I mean, it's tough. It's really tough on marriage. Your other children, because it's real hard on them. I mean, if you asked my other kids who's my favorite kid, they'd say, oh, well, Carrie is, no doubt. But it's really that Carrie's just taken so much of my time.
Right.
And just to have, what I always did with my other children was to let there be an open discussion about how they felt about everything. And they were really honest about it. And I think that was that was helpful. It was helpful for me because I knew how they felt.
Yeah. That's
we have a whole program. We have a whole program called Family Resiliency Programs, and we work mostly in the inner cities with parents that have no money, but also parents of kids on the spectrum and disabilities, and we offer social emotional learning along with yoga, meditation, and dieting, and just to give them a little gift of this kind of things that they're never going to have a chance to get.
It's amazing. Yeah.
We always ask the question, what do you do to take care of it? And most of the moms say, I get my nails done. And that's nice. Beautiful. It's beautiful. But you don't say how often, maybe once a month. You need time.
I found that I have to exercise, and I do yoga as well. As you know, I teach yoga and practice often. And I found that if I'm not practicing at least 3 times a week, I don't function as well. It's the same with eating. I don't function as well. And once you get into these things, you'll start to realize what is necessary and then what is overkill,
Right. And the yoga practice it's exercise, so it gets the endorphins going, but it also opens up all the energy channels in your body. So that, wherever you might be a little bit stuck or have an ache or pain, you're going to feel that much better and be that much more vital, right?
Yeah.
When you go back out into the world to work with your kids and do what you have to do.
Yeah. I would encourage all moms. I mean, yoga is not the only way to feel great, but it is a really, really good way, and it's very available in most areas. And I would just encourage you, there are free weeks at all kinds of yoga places. So go and try one out. I mean, call and say, do you do a free week? Do you do a free class? Just try one out and see how you feel afterwards, because I guarantee just a couple times in, you're going to feel completely different. And my friends that don't work out, that I've talked at, or don't do yoga or don't do meditation, that I've talked to them, and it's like they feel like they don't have any energy to give to go and work out.
Right.
And it's like what they don't realize is if you put that energy out, it gives you energy. It doesn't take it away. And so, especially when you add in the meditation, also that incredibly clearing of the mind, it can do so much for the rest of your day, or the next day even. And so I just want to encourage the other moms to do that.
Yeah. Julie, we have those, some of the videos that Yoga Journal did. I don't know if you want to.
I did. So I will put, so Sharon has a surprise for you guys that we're going to give you. So she did a deep relaxation, and it's 10 minutes long. So literally you're going to be able to, I'm going to put it in the comments after this. You're going to be able to download it, and you can listen to it anytime you want. And the coolest thing is that it's only 10 minutes, so you can kind of see the difference, but you'll want to be in a laying position on the ground, because it talks about laying on your mat, but lay on the ground, and then just try this for 10 minutes. And I'm telling you, you're going to feel amazing. It's also called deep relaxation, or yoga nidra. And maybe tell us a little bit about that.
It's actually one of it's not even one of the most, it is the most healing part of a yoga practice. Mm-hmm. And what it does is it takes you through the different levels of the body, which would take a really long time to explain, but you go through the physical, the breath, the mental, and you completely let go. You're actually present, you're not asleep, but it begins to heal and let things release in the body. And one of the nice things about it is that things that heal and release, you kind of don't even know what it is. So it's not like you're going to therapy and talking about it and you have to relax. It's like you just let something go and you wake up and something just feels, there's a little shift. Over time, if you do it often, it is very powerful and so good. It helps you go to sleep at night. It revives you, and it's 10 minutes.
Yeah, and even if you just say, okay, I'm going to commit to like 1 week of doing this every day, just journal how you feel different. You feel, a weight lifted off, and you don't know why, but that's what it is. And the other cool thing about it is that if you have a child that will follow direction, and many of us do, some not, but you can actually do this with them. Yoga and meditation is insane. It's so good. And so part of Sharon's journey, which you can share maybe a little bit, but you put together with your daughter certain exercises, yoga specific movements that would help her with her different issues, like the gastrointestinal issues. And so maybe talk a little bit about that, because I think it's so fascinating.
Well, after the whole doctor thing, Carrie was on 7 medications, and I had to do something. So the first thing we did was diet, and we cleaned her diet up, and there was a big change. And then with some of my yoga gurus, some of the people I've worked with for years that are amazing experts, they helped me develop a whole series of exercises that are meant to calm down the nervous system and work with the digestive system. So we took the key points, what people with autism would really need, and to a yoga practice that's really fun. And then it worked for Carrie so well that we decided we should really go out and try to help others with it. So we created a nonprofit, a 501c3, and then we also created a yoga teacher training that is Yoga Alliance certification. And you can, we go out to schools, New Jersey, New York, and we teach the kids this yoga program, and we've been doing it for years, like 10 years.
So the name of the nonprofit is Ashrams for Autism, and I can't tell you enough. I've heard so much about what she does, and she's truly helping people that have no other resources. She told me a story of a woman several women, I guess, that would get on a train and go 2 hours to come to your stuff. Because
we also created then a parent program. Yeah. Because when you see these kids, especially when you go into Newark and places in the inner cities, these kids have nothing. But then the parents, it's usually a single mom. They have nothing, and they have a kid with autism, and it's hard. And so we run parent programs where we do different kinds of yoga, meditation. We give them tips on sleep, how to get a good night's sleep, how to healthy eating. And these 2 moms that come to this one class in Newark, they take buses. The combination of buses takes about 2 hours to get there.
Oh, it's fun.
It's so touching, and they get so much from it, and we're the lucky ones, because we get to teach to them. Really are.
There's no more joy than being able to use what you love to help someone. Yeah. And I think that's what I knew from the second I talked to you, what you do. And it's just so apparent in the way you present yourself that you get joy from giving back to others. And I I love that about you.
As
So
do you, Julie.
I love the idea of helping the world, but that all goes back to the fact that I'm not like this naturally over-giving person, and the people that know me best know that. I'm able to do this. I'm able to do it because I take care of myself, and I know
Right.
we have to do that to be able to give, and the more we take a little for ourselves, then we can give, tenfold. And
It's so important to take care of yourself.
yeah,
That's like the probably the most important thing.
yeah,
Give yourself that gift, and love yourself. Even, we teach this hug, that this breathing exercise where you take a deep breath in, and at the end give yourself a big hug.
yeah.
And I used to do that with my daughter, but what my daughter Carrie used to do, she would take this big breath, and then she would go like this, and she'd go, "Oh, sweetheart, it's okay." And she'd cover. And it's like, that's the kind of thing, though. It's like, giving yourself back that nurturing. It's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I love it, and I loved what I listened to, your 10 minutes, and so we'll put that in the comments. We'll also I'd love for people to look into your organization and learn about it. So I'm going to put your nonprofit down at the bottom too, because I'd like them to see that what you're doing is very inspiring, and I hope that you and I get to do an event together. I'm really
We will.
about that.
We have to do something up here.
We do, because
we will.
Yeah, in my goal, I thought, well, we'll talk about this later, but I'm like, we need to live stream it so that all these moms everywhere can benefit from it, because that's
a great idea.
Yeah, I got all kinds. We'll talk later, and we'll announce it, but we'll have to live stream things, because I think if they can experience it once, they'll see the difference it'll make in their life and their ability to go forward. And I know so many moms that don't get out of the house, like, ever. And so being able to do anything on video is just so much better. So we'll discuss more. All right. So I do, at the end of every interview, I could talk to you for seriously hours, but at the end of every interview, I do like 10 quick, fun questions just to learn a little bit more about you. So do you like books or movies?
I like both.
Both? Okay.
I like both a lot. Yeah.
I mean, you can say that. No one's stopping you. All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite sport?
Probably swimming and yoga. Well, yoga's not a sport. That's a lot.
Yeah, we can count it as a sport.
Sport, it would be hiking or swimming.
Okay. Your dream vacation?
I think I just went on. Well, you know where I've always wanted to go to? New Zealand.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. All right. Would you rather endure 1 hour of stimming or an hour of a meltdown from your child with autism?
Endure?
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them gets me. Yeah, I can't say either one is whichever one causes the least amount of pain.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what kind of stimming.
Probably the stimming, because the meltdown's really painful for the kids. The stimming, they're happy. I'll take the stimming.
Okay, all right. Glad we got that settled, right? All right. The last thing you spent a lot of money on?
Oh, it's my kids.
Yeah.
I spend the most money on my kids. That's,
Outside your family, the person you admire most?
Probably the two people that I work with, Marga Bandhu, who's one of the yoga teachers, and Mark Rosenbaum, who's the person I do the parent program with.
Nice.
I really admire them.
Your favorite ice cream?
I don't eat ice cream.
Don't eat ice cream? Okay.
I don't eat ice cream.
Well, that's awesome. That's incredible. Favorite family tradition?
Favorite family tradition. Well, it used to be Christmas Eve was a big one. Another thing that we used to do on Thanksgiving morning is we used to watch the movie Best in Show. Do you remember that movie?
No.
Oh, it's such a funny movie. Do you remember that, Tina? Yeah, I used to love doing it.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve. Christmas
All
Eve.
right. So we already know the one thing you do to take care of yourself, yoga, meditation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what therapy do you feel has made the most difference?
Really not. Oh, it's a great this is a therapy besides yoga. You want me to talk about something?
Sure. Yeah.
It's called EFT. Did you ever hear of EFT?
I have heard of it.
You do it's tapping along with saying different things. Very, very powerful. EFT. And I don't remember actually what the whole word for that is, but EFT was very powerful. Meditation though is, if meditation's the most powerful thing that I've ever done.
Yeah.
And that, if you're going to call it, you can call it therapy, but if you want to really change your life, start meditating.
Yeah. Well, and I'm excited. Yeah. Well, so we're going to put the 10-minute meditation down in the comments. So look for that and download that. And she's giving this to you as a gift. So take it and use it and maybe try a whole week of it. I'm really hoping that people will take advantage of this because it's going to change so much just to take care of yourself. And so thank you, Sharon. You're delightful. I love to talk.
I love talking to you.
Yeah. We'll put all that down there and hopefully we'll get our event together and then we'll announce and hopefully we can stream the portions that would benefit the moms and dads live. I'm looking forward.
That would be so great. And and maybe in the future there's some other videos and stuff that we have available that if it could help some people, we would love to be able to spread and share it.
I would love that. Yeah. The more we can give in that area, I think moms can use that every single day. And it's all about just finding something you can stick to. And in the beginning, anything, you have to make yourself do it. But then you begin to love it. And so it's not like you either love exercise or you hate it. It's like you get used to it and then you begin to love it. And I didn't love
feel better, and that's really what will happen. And you will, you will definitely feel better, and you'll find that the stuff that used to bother you doesn't bother you as much anymore. And life things change. There's a lot more joy.
Yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to share? I just want to make sure if you had any other things you would like to share with the ladies mostly, that you'll be able to do that.
Well, that the whole lifestyle of yoga really works. And especially, the physical part works, eating good food. Meditation is really powerful. Being able to quiet your mind. And we all know that throughout the day, especially, we have worries. We worry about things and a lot of chatter and chit chat going on in our mind. And it's usually the same thing over and over again. And through the practice of being able to quiet your mind, that begins to support. And then we take ourselves out of that place of survival, where every day is just survival.
Yeah.
And into a place of possibility where, you start dreaming and planning and, and living life again. And that's really important.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.